Good evening, everyone. It is the 22nd of September. It is, guess what? The 25th episode of the BloomCast. I actually can't believe it. I know you guys can't believe it either. We were just starting this show because we were bored on Tuesday nights and the lockdown was making us depressed. And for some reason, we have done 25 episodes of it. And we hope that we have brought you some pretty interesting crypto entertainment and education over the last, I want to say, 6 or 7 months. Today we've got a pretty cool episode. As you probably know, if you saw my posts about it a couple days back, we are giving away one of these babies. This is a Ledger Nano S. This is a cryptocurrency hardware wallet. And we'll talk about a little bit about it a little later during the show. Ramon has a pretty cool segment where he's going to talk a little bit about how this stuff works. But yeah, let me introduce. I'll introduce myself first, just in case you didn't know. My name is Luis. I'm one of the founders of Bloom Solutions. We do this BloomCast every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. and we are really happy to have you guys watching us. Please share the show with your friends, and just have them ask their questions and. Just ask whatever you guys have that you are wondering about, whatever you're curious about with the cryptocurrency industry, with the news that's happened this last week. Just jump on and leave us comments in the chat. Don't forget that if you don't leave a comment in the chat, you won't be in the running for this prize. So you must leave a comment in the chat, even if it's just good day, everyone. Good day, Alex. Good day, HG Galang. Hi, everyone. Josh, John, Felnards, Attorney Raf. Hello. Okay, so I've introduced myself. Let me introduce my co-panelists now. With me tonight, as always, Ramon Tayag, CTO of Bloom Solutions. Justin David, COO of Bloom Solutions. Mark Vernon, still coming to us from somewhere in... Is it Cyprus this time? Cyprus. Yes.
Back in Cyprus.
Still coming to us live from Cyprus. Mark Vernon, CEO of Tag Cash and Tag Bond. And of course, Coach Eman, cryptocurrency trader. Hello. Thank you so much for Fibonacciing our show tonight. And our special guest for today, it's his first time on the show. I've known him for a while now. He's been a very regular fixture in the cryptocurrency community here in the Philippines for several years now. He used to work for coins.ph. He's working for someone else now, but we're not supposed to say who that is. So for the purposes of this show, we will call it the company that must not be named. So everyone, please welcome Colin Goltra.
Hey, everyone.
Who is working for the company who must not be named.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Rumors
sure
abound.
There were some rumors that we have not been able to verify. That's what we'll say about that.
And it's not me.
No, it wasn't from you this time.
Okay, no, I know.
So
I mean, he's not going to work for me. He's not working for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
it's, I can neither confirm or deny that it's Tag Cash.
Okay. So the promise that we made to Colin in order for him to come onto the show tonight was that we were not going to talk about the company that must not be named. So
Awesome.
So we will just leave it at that. And if he is ready to announce this at some point, maybe he'll come back on the show and then he'll actually kind of do it a little bit more officially next time. Okay. So we had a pretty cool week last week, guys. The markets were pretty red. Coach Eman, we usually start off with your segment, but I'm gonna just show people just where we're at. So this is let's see here. When we left everyone last week, the Bitcoin price was $10,600. The Ethereum price was, I want to say, $360. As of this morning, we are about $10,400 for Bitcoin and $343 for Ethereum. Coach Eman, should we be worried? It looks like it's possible that the bears are back. What do you think there?
Yes, possible. Actually, this month, we've already mentioned, these past few weeks, we've already mentioned na itong month na to will be talagang bear month siya, no?
Mm-hmm.
Or bear month. So, ayun,
Also a bear
apparently
month, but
talagang,
yes.
oo. So, ayun, apparently talagang red month siya, and that's why a lot of buyers or bulls are having a hard time, especially trading those bullish patterns, since most of the time frames from the higher time frame to smaller time frame, once they aligned, definitely bears are starting to have their momentum. So that's what
Okay.
happened for this month. That's why most of the traders, especially in my community, sinabihan ko sila to stop trading muna, especially when it comes to going long. So uh, there's no clear direction yet for the market. That's why talagang sideline lang muna kami.
So,
Not
Coach,
trading.
you yourself, you personally, you're not trading at
Yes.
all.
Not trading.
Wow. Okay. So, what are you doing these days? You're just hanging out in UP Town Center and stuff like that, like
Yes.
last week.
You nailed it. Yeah, actually,
Okay.
yeah. Uh, taking my time to study the markets and yung behaviors nila, and what would be the next possible movement for the coming month, especially for the month of October. Pwede na mag-share ng screen. So since we already
Yeah,
discussed
please.
this
Yeah.
one.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll stop mine so you can take over.
Yeah, thanks.
I actually have a very specific question for you. Pero go ahead and do your yeah, and okay, there it is.
Ayan,
Okay,
so
here's okay. Yep.
so we are already done with our Fibonacci retracements, and yung price already hit our 618 retracement. So before, yung price is naglalaro lang around sabihin natin 10,000 to 10,200, 2,500. And once it reached 11,100 or 11,200, just like we already mentioned before, that psychological resistance will be are easy to remember, or nice numbers are easy to remember. That's why a lot of people who bought at the top, especially with Bitcoin, or let's say they are on a leverage, are just looking to close their position on a possible average price. So just to minimize their losses. So that's one of the reasons. That's why sellers are strong, especially with the Wi-Fi sector. Ay, hindi pala Wi-Fi sector. Ano nga
The
ulit yun?
DeFi sector?
Uni.
The DeFi sector, not the Wi-Fi
DeFi, yeah,
sector.
yeah, yeah.
Sa
Not Wi-Fi specifically.
the DeFi sector,
Wi-Fi
ayun.
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi.
lost like
Wi-Fi.
30%, didn't it? Like I know that it dropped pretty big in the last few
Yeah.
days.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So, ayun, napalitan na naman siya, and then nagkaroon na naman ng another outlier, which is the Uni. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Right. We're
Uni.
gonna talk about
So,
that later in the show, actually, because I don't think it was possible to be in crypto without hearing about Uniswap last week. It was
mhm.
the only thing anyone was talking about was Uniswap.
Correct. So, ayun, when it comes to trading altcoins, nowadays, very short-lived lang yung cycle nila, because especially with Uni, mention ko na rin, Uni, kung if we're going to the chart of Uni,
Mhm.
you'll also see, ayan, meron na Fibonacci, pero it didn't work kasi affected siya ng sentiment ng market for this month.
You only got
So,
5 days of charts. Yeah.
yes.
Such a small chart.
Actually, 'di ba way back 2017, ganito lahat sila eh. Pag
Right, that's
newly
true,
listed sa
actually.
exchange, 'di ba?
That's
So
true.
talagang
Yeah,
bago.
yeah.
So with this market, especially with the new traders or investor, they got slaughtered above this price kasi
Right.
syempre some of them, especially pag beginner, they didn't even know what would be the next possible outcome if masyadong mabilis yung price increase. So if we're going
Right.
to measure the price increase from this low to this high, it went up to 4,736%. So masyadong mabilis yung price action niyan. Yes, talagang instant gratification talaga siya. So kung ako iti-trade ko to, definitely my time frame would be 1 hour time frame. So ilang days
Mm.
lang bumagsak na siya, because again, that is the smaller cycle. And that's why lagi kong binabanggit this past few weeks during this sa live natin with BloomCast, I always look on the larger time frame kasi it will give you, or sabi natin, at least a hint or a gist what would be the direction for that month. Kasi pag hindi mo alam yung direction for that month, definitely parang you'll easily get drawn by smaller time frames eh. Sabi natin
Right.
punta ka sa 5 minute and then jump to 1 hour na naman. So parang alam mo yun, nalilito. So but at the end of the end of the day, pag nakita mo yung larger time frame, oh, kaya pala nag-fail lahat ng setup because we are currently on a red month. So speaking
Right.
of red month, going back to BTC, we still have a huge or wide range na pwede pang lapagan ni BTC around this area. But let's see if that will materialize. But another odds na nakita ko dito is that we will retrace again for at the end of the month. Sabihin natin mga 30 or kung hindi man siya mangyari ng 30, sabihin natin pagtapak ng October. Ayan. So I am expecting a possible swing high, especially with the altcoins na affected with the massive dump or sabi natin rejection in the price or correction. So if mangyari yun, I want to see then if this price will get retraced. Kasi if pipilitin natin mag-trade for this month, ang ending niyan is parang 'di ba? Hindi pa rin natin afford or we don't have that much volume or market cap para magkaroon ng increase papunta dito sa 382. So, para to give us a chance na magkaroon ulit ng isa pang green month, so dapat mag-close muna tong month na to. So, if that happened and then magkaroon tayo ng bullish, sabihin natin engulfing, uh, too soon pa pala sabihin. Too soon
Okay.
pa. So I need more
Okay.
I need more information
Okay.
pa. So that's
Coach,
our analysis for
I wanted to ask you like
BTC.
I guess you're probably teaching your students this also. What would it take, given this current scenario that we're in, what would it take for you to start trading again? Because you said that you're on pause, right? So what is the signal that you're waiting for before you start trading again?
Okay, so the very basic is number one, you should have your own trading principles.
Okay.
So most of the new people who got in trading, they don't have any criteria or principles. So just like for example, on how you are going to write a program or sabihin natin on how you're going to cook, yun yung pinakasimple. You have your own principles sabihin natin and uh, ano yung mga step by steps na titignan mo. So for me, I already have that principles in my mind and actually may written principles din ako when it comes to trading. So I strongly recommend that meron din yung iba nanonood sa atin. So with those principles, pag hindi nagmatch agad, so I don't have to think of it. Siyempre marami din tayong ginagawa on a daily basis. Siyempre pag inisip ko pa yun, parang I might just get drawn into the market na parang, uy, mukhang green to so possible na uptrend to, pwede ako mentor agad. But with those principles, once na hindi na-meet yung criteria, it will help you at least, kasi hindi mo pa rin maiiwasan yung emotions eh. It will help you at least to think twice na, should I trade the market na or should I stop trading muna for this month?
Right. Okay.
So, ayun. My next rule is, aside from having a principle, have a limit yourself in trading. Okay, so when it comes to financial market, especially with change of behavior in the market, dun namamatay yung mga retailers eh. That is the moment where they get slaughtered because pag napagbigyan sila on the bull market, so they just know, oh, it's just the same thing, my strategy works, so I stick on it. Pero what
Right.
if hindi na nag-work?
Right.
So, syempre papasok na yung emotions and ayun. So, number 3 is definitely, again, to sum it up, dapat you have your own trading plan.
Okay. Okay.
Ayun.
Cool. In the chat, I just wanted to say thanks to the people who are congratulating us on our 25th episode. Mots, Alex, Leo, thanks so much. 25 more episodes before we hit 50, and then we really need to figure out what the giveaways are. I think Mark Vernon's going to have to finance
Tag.
most of that
Free
now
tag.
because we can't afford. Yeah, I mean, we can't really afford to give away like a whole bunch of Ledger Nanos. So you're going to have to figure out the next one. Coach, what else did you do you have any thoughts for the next week, this coming week? What are you expecting with BTC and Ether?
For this week, I'm expecting for another retest of another
11.
retest of this support. Yes,
Oh,
around
the
this
support.
area.
Oh,
Yes,
oh wow.
another
Okay.
retest of the support. So
Okay.
tapos na tayo dito eh. We're already done in testing our Fibonacci retracement. So more likely we might hit another our support again around this level 10,000 area.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
ayun.
I see.
So yeah,
That's not big
literally
news.
I'm not doing anything or not trading anything. So
Okay.
actually nakita ko Uniswap, I want to trade it pero ano yung trading plan ko pala. I'm not supposed to be
Yeah.
to trade
Yeah,
ngayon this
so
month.
I don't have a trading plan because I'm not really a person. I'm not a personal trader. Like I don't trade for my
Mhm.
own stuff. So
Mhm.
I have a quick story later about my experience trying to trade Uniswap. So that'll be for later. Bryla Desma is saying there's no love for Bitcoin Cash. Yeah,
Zero.
there's no love for Bitcoin Cash. I don't know what there. I have nothing else to say
Yeah,
about
that's
that. Sorry. Sorry. Why did something happen with Bitcoin Cash? I don't even know. Was there news? Does anyone know? I literally
I
have
think
no
there was going to be
news.
another.
No news
I think
means.
there was going to be another fork of it coming up at some point.
Or
Oh yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
I don't know
fork.
where. I don't know where that stands though.
It is.
Oh, okay.
It was
Is that
about
the
the tax
tax?
on the
Yeah.
miners. Yeah, that one.
Oh man.
We're more of an
Jeez.
SV. We're more of an SV show anyway, aren't we? I'm kidding.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
No other.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
other.
So the question that a lot of people will be asking is, should we be buying? At what point should you buy Bitcoin if you want a long-term hold on it? Do you buy it anything just above 10,000, or do you think it's going to drop down to say 9,000? Should people wait? What? I know it's not financial advice, but you can give a personal opinion, can't you?
Oh, you forgot to say that, Coach. You forgot to say that this time.
Sorry. Okay, so
Yeah. You need a soundboard.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
so best place or best price to buy Bitcoin is definitely near support areas. So
Okay.
let's
10,000.
say near support areas, or if you are into timing, you can buy at least near end of the month. End of the month.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
kasi there's a once the larger time frame starts to align with smaller time frames, usually they have this significant impact. So
Well, I'm
it could
asking from a personal point of view because my mother's sitting opposite
personal
me.
yeah,
She said
yeah.
she wants to buy some Bitcoin. So
Yeah.
okay, so if you want to buy some Bitcoin, at what price? I really can't tell.
He doesn't want to tell you, Mark. You're just gonna have to do it, bite the bullet, announce
Yeah.
on the show how much you bought, and then we'll just watch and see how your
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
grows.
I personally invest in a different way. I buy for the long term, whereas a lot of people want to
Mm-mm.
trade on the short term, try and make some quick
Mm-mm.
money. So it
Okay.
depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. So if you believe in Bitcoin that this is going to be the next currency, then buy.
yeah.
But
Well,
just don't put
anytime's a good time.
total of your savings, diba?
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I think
I bought Ethereum. That didn't work out for me, but there you go.
you were pretty happy for one episode. There was one episode of the BloomCast where you were very happy with your investment.
Actually, no.
And
When
after
you
that-
think about it, I've got a conversion from Ethereum to Bitcoin, and I'm basically at the same level. I think I sold 53 Bitcoins worth of Ethereum, and with the prices both dropping down, they're still about the same. So I haven't lost out. It's just that when Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum should go up. It's and going backwards as well. So
in the
anyway.
chat, Alex is asking, what do you think the possibility of MicroStrategy being involved in the crypto space in purchasing 500 million worth of BTC? So it's basically asking what the impact of the MicroStrategy news was. So we covered this a few episodes ago, no, where MicroStrategy, big publicly owned company, made a really massive investment in Bitcoin, and then they followed up with another one last week. Mon, do you want to take this one? I know that you were the one that was talking about it in the last episode.
Yeah. Well, let's see. It's still the same. Like my thoughts on it are still the same. I think this opens the doors to other companies doing the same. And I read some crazy statistic like MicroStrategy bought the mining rewards for the last, I don't know, couple of months or so. I forget, but a surprisingly large chunk, right? And one thing I keep telling people is this absolute provable scarcity is something we don't really understand. Like we've never seen it before, and with MicroStrategy now owning what, maybe almost point zero
0.01 is
yeah,
the
that was then, right? And then they bought again. So
well, that's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
Um,
they don't they buy it and then they sit on it. It's not like for trading where they're
Yeah.
going to buy and sell.
Yeah.
So it just means there's going to be less on the market to buy.
and you can be sure that there are other companies thinking about doing the same thing.
yeah.
So
Colin,
that's why I'm
Belcher,
bullish.
any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I have maybe a cultural take that I think it's discussed a bit less. I agree with both Ramon and Mark's point about kind of opening the gateway for other publicly traded companies to have it as a treasury asset. I think on the cultural front, actually, we were in a weird mini period of stagnation for the Bitcoin community, at least as it relates to, DeFi was really hot. You had, Andre Cronje and all these new sort of influencers in the broader ETH and DeFi space introducing new ideas into the crypto ecosystem. And I think Bitcoin was kind of looking a little, just culturally at least, a little stagnant. And I think with the introduction of, I think Michael Saylor is his name, right? The new, the CEO of MicroStrategy. I think there's a new kind of cultural, it's like you kind of go from cultural era to cultural era. And there is just this new, self-made public company CEO that's, clearly read all of the safety and stuff. And, he's a big Bitcoin standard guy. And he's talking about how Bitcoin is this hive of hornets. And so you kind of need that crazy cultural figure to go out on Twitter and just kind of bant with all the other crypto ecosystem projects. I think there was a moment of like cultural stagnation where Bitcoin, the talking points have kind of existed for a bit. I think they're kind of evergreen, but also most of the community had heard them already. And so there's a new cultural icon that can kind of introduce new talking points, really have skin in the game. And I think that's actually critical to the ecosystem, not just for Bitcoin, but for other crypto communities as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what you mentioned sounds a lot like what 100 trillion USD or Plan B, as he's called, describes with his phases of Bitcoin. Like, at the beginning, it's some just nerd currency, and then it becomes something individuals might save and store in, and then there's a step where companies do it, and then maybe later it will be
totally.
Something like
totally.
that.
Maybe
and it's like every step there is this like wall that you hit, and then it feels stagnant, right? Until it breaks open.
The next stage after institution is governments.
Yeah, I was going to say the next stage is probably like you're going to have an obscure Eastern European country who just whose treasury secretary is just totally based, and they're just going to be like Bitcoin all the way. We're buying all of this. We're switching our USD position. Our sovereign USD position. We're going to switch some of it into Bitcoin.
You want to care to guess which one?
Georgia.
Oh no,
Georgia for sure.
Georgia.
Because
wherever
that's where
you are,
Bitfury
Mark.
is. No, because that's where Bitfury is, right? So obviously, if it's going to be anything, it's going to be it's going to be Georgia. Okay. Anyway, all right. So I had the perfect segue after what Colin said, but anyway, so I was going to say, speaking of influential CEOs. And then I was going to talk about Cian Coin from last week.
Again.
Oh yeah, another influential CEO of
very
CEO.
influential CEO.
Yes.
So last week we were talking about Cian Gaza's Cian Coin scam thing. And I just wanted to read one of the comments we got on YouTube. I just thought it was kind of funny. And like the thing is, when we do this show, we know that we're going to get some people hating on us or disagreeing with us or whatever. And that's fine. Like, I actually think that it is better if people disagree with us rather than if no one cares, right? It's better that there is some kind of debate going on. I just found this particular comment kind of funny. For the
read it seriously.
Our,
seriously.
I have to read it in English to get
please.
Everyone to. So basically, this guy Daydreamer commented that the host was very biased in the way that he discussed Cian Coin, and it was full of wrong information. He said that he watched the entire 30-minute video, but he still can't understand where to buy. It's a good thing that the coach knew that the CEO was, what's malupit in English? Awesome. I guess you can say awesome.
Okay.
So like he's actually blaming Coach Eman for saying that Cian Gaza was an awesome CEO. I don't think he actually said that.
I don't think
So
he said
anyway,
that,
yeah.
no.
And then he ends with, do proper research, trash host. I thought that was kind of a mean thing to say. I'm sure. I thought I did do the proper research, but whatever. Anyway, so by the way, guys, I'm not saying that you should leave us comments like this. I'm just saying that I think that when we get comments like this, it makes us think that we are actually reaching people who might not necessarily agree with us, and that's what we want with this show, because it's hard to, like, we don't want to just keep sharing stuff with people who already know all of this stuff, right? So whether or not you agree with us or disagree with us, it's okay. I hope that if you did leave comments, it's a little bit more polite than this, but whatever. I'm not that's not that big a deal either.
Constructive comments.
Constructive would be nice. Yeah. So that's it for our comment of the week. I should have like a segment of that, like for real. In the chat,
we should have him on the show. We should do.
Dude,
one
No.
I don't think you want to do that.
lively debate, free speech, right?
If this is the comments he's getting defended on right now, if he's on the show, God, just the amount of people. that will
Ian in the
defend
chat
him.
is saying they just don't know that it's so easy to create an ERC20 token, but use cases matter. For CN Coin, it's nothing but butthurt. That's I agree. The thing about CN Coin was that there was no use case. He just happened to make a new token and named it after himself, and that was it. There was no real reason. There was no motivation that would make the,
you forgot the guaranteed price increase.
Guaranteed, yeah.
Oh yeah. That
guaranteed,
too. The mark of a legit founder.
Yeah,
Guaranteed price increase if you invest in my token. So yeah. All right. So I guess if you were in the crypto space last week, you would have definitely. Oh crap! Here we go again. Okay, it's a good thing I know exactly what this is. So this is the news about Kraken. Kraken.com, one of the largest exchanges in the world. Sorry for the weird graphic problem here, guys, but I don't know why I keep getting censored by, I don't know whatever the hell this is, but Kraken announced that they are now officially a bank. So I was really surprised about this. I didn't know that they were even planning to do that. But not only can they hold customer funds in dollars, but it sounds like they're also going to be able to do the same for their crypto. So it took me by surprise when I saw the news. I was actually expecting that it would be more like Coinbase, because it seems like Coinbase was always the company that was really, really trying hard to become a bank. What do you guys think about this news? Is this overall good for Bitcoin? I guess so, no?
Well,
but is it? What do you think?
The future of the big exchanges has become the new bank, where they intersect both sides. You mentioned Binance, and Binance. I was in Lithuania last week, as you know, and talking to various people, and Binance basically looks like they're moving into Lithuania, which will be interesting because the central bank doesn't particularly like cryptocurrency, but it makes sense to have a bank set up there. But maybe if they can push the envelope and convince the bank regulators that they can, but handle both sides properly, then the future is these big exchanges becoming banks, like in the same way that Bitfinex pushed USDT, they're becoming like a de facto bank for USDT, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes sense that you're going to get a bank license if you can. The fact they've got it in Wyoming and Nevada, the two states over there in the States that you can actually push this through. You try doing it in New York, you might have a different story. So I don't know what that means. Being in Wyoming, will they be able to, how far they could go, what restrictions they have, what kind of bank license they have, might be restrictive. I don't know.
It's full banking,
yeah,
right?
It's a full banking
they can
license.
make
My
Visa cards, custody solutions.
So my understanding is it was a depository thing. So they can't do fractional reserve banking in the U.S. So they don't have they're not subject to like FDIC stuff. So but they are a full bank in the sense that they can custody customer funds as a bank would. So I think it's actually for increased legal protection in a way. Like I think it's actually something where like I don't know that the level of service would dramatically change, but it helps them to do stuff like anything that requires full custody. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like payments, wealth management solutions, other stuff like that. Just from kind of the quick reading of them.
I mean, given that they are a cryptocurrency company first, I feel like they probably would be okay with not having fractional reserve banking as a feature of their bank. That's probably like, I actually thought that was their idea. That, like, oh, we're going to be a bank, we're not going to do fractional reserve. Like, I thought that was their idea. I didn't realize it was part of their license requirement. Okay.
Yeah. And also, I think, I think fractional reserve is upstream of lending, right? And so, like, I think it'll probably, I don't think there'll be a bank in like a mom and pop, commercial bank giving loans for, homes or anything, right? With crypto. I think it'll be, I think it's for closer protection of protection and custody of deposits.
So in US, that they have a license in one state, they can actually apply that to all states to send money through ACH, etc. Whereas just as an MSB, money service business, or an EMI, you can't actually do that. You have to have a separate license in every of the 50 states. So this is a good move. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to have, for example, a stellar US dollar token that's actually backed by a proper bank rather than USDT. You don't know if they have the reserves or not, but this way they're properly regulated, so we know that those reserves should be in the bank.
Yeah,
Go ahead. So Aldrin Rabino in the chat is saying that Kraken has never been hacked since they launched the platform. I don't know that for a fact, but if that's true, that's really interesting, because I don't know of any major exchange that has not been hacked. I'd have to double check that. In the chat, June is asking, does Kraken's approval contradict the main idea of crypto, which is decentralized? I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, Kraken is not exactly a decentralized exchange.
I think I actually really, of the major American exchanges, I actually feel Kraken, just knowing who works there, I feel like they're actually kind of the closest to kind of some of the original cypherpunk ideals, right? I think that they've a lot of the people that work there in senior positions are people that have been in the what was once just the Bitcoin space for a long time. I mean, a lot of them were in the early 2012, 2013 San Francisco scene, and they read the cypherpunks and all that. And so I think they probably understand that there's some duality there, but generally speaking, I trust the people behind the helm there, as people that have been in the space for a long time and kind of understand the original sort of Satoshi vision, Satoshi ideals. This is my second SB Freudian slip.
Ian made a point there. It's just a bridging for financial institution. My point has always been for a number of years that the best way to get crypto into the system is from the inside. So you get your license somehow, and then you go back from there, rather than just being a crypto, go straight into, and introduce crypto to the central bank. You get a license. This is what CoinsPH did as well. Actually, a roundabout way. They built their business based on crypto, based on Bitcoin. But I think the best way to do it is to go inside, get the license, and then you can influence others, because now you're regulated, now you have credibility.
Yeah,
it's hard to
and actually, Mark, to a point you made earlier about the banking license being applicable in all 50 states. I think one thing that gets speculated on is Kraken very famously had a big fallout with the state of New York in response to the BIT license, which is like one of the more draconian crypto, which is probably the most draconian crypto regulation in the world, right? Like it's literally like most exchanges will say, you can't work with us if you're in North Korea, Iran, and the state of New York, right? And so the BIT license is historically, something that keeps crypto businesses, very much outside of that that jurisdiction. And so if they have this banking license that's kind of federally recognized, I think that makes their re-entry into New York a possibility or something without the BIT license.
I'd wonder
Question
if
from
the guys in New York would say, no, you need a BIT license as well, or
I'm sure they'll.
Yeah,
I can only speculate, but but I'm sure they won't be happy about people skirting that rule.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I
don't know what will happen.
Any thoughts on this question from Ian? Will Kraken create a token for their ecosystem?
Binance is the one that made that popular, didn't they? But does Bitfinex
I actually don't know any
token?
other. Well, Huobi does.
Yeah.
Huobi does.
Huobi hasn't.
I would be surprised if Kraken made their own
OKX
token.
will be.
Okay.
Bitfinex
I think
have
it's
USDT.
unlikely that the regulated American players will.
Yeah.
It's unlikely that any of them will do it.
Yeah,
I think they just don't want to. They don't want to get into the speculation around securities.
That security issue. I thought Binance would have a problem in America with the Binance token, but because it acts more like a share, like shares that were launched without regulation.
We can delve into that one when it becomes relevant at a later date, I suppose. Okay. So generally speaking, we don't think that Kraken will create a token for their ecosystem. Does that sound? Yeah, I actually don't think so either. And my read on it is because I agree with what Colin was saying, that these guys are kind of old school Bitcoin cypherpunks, like the management of Kraken. So I feel like they probably wouldn't, just because it feels like slightly different from kind of the vibe of that ethos. So I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. One more question here from Virgie: Is Kraken also like what Binance did here in the Philippines, where we can deposit using peso to buy crypto?
You can't do that.
Technically, Binance doesn't allow you to do that here. That's the reason why the P2P marketplace exists, because that's not possible yet. And there is no major exchange, no major international exchange that has managed to kind of get that working in the Philippines yet. Not directly. As far as I know, Kraken has never made any moves here in the Philippines. I don't know if you guys have heard anything.
No,
but,
they don't do anything.
Yeah. So as far as I know, it's really just Binance. And I'm trying to think if there was any of the other Chinese exchanges that have ever tried to do anything directly here in the Philippines. I guess OKX tries to, kind of see how the community is doing pretty regularly, but they don't actually have anything specific here yet.
Which
so
makes you ask the question: why would Binance want to be in the Philippines if no one else is interested? What's special about the Philippines? I know, but and Binance must know.
Do you? You'll have to tell us, because I'm not sure what that is. Mark, what is it?
What's special about the Philippines? I just think there's well, first of all, there's a lot of money flowing in from abroad, and people are always looking for alternate ways to get money through. Obviously, there's a lot of money laundering coming from U.S. banks, apparently. You read the latest news.
I don't think that's special. That's like the rest of the world is like that.
But then there's just a lot of people that, there's a lot of Filipinos want to make fast money, easy money or whatever. And so it allows, Filipinos to get into that market for trading assets very easily, whereas on the stock market, there's not a lot of scope, plus not a lot of movement up and down. So a lot more Filipinos are probably into crypto than the stock exchange. I don't know the figures on that.
Okay.
So there's a lot of interest.
I don't know. Yeah. So Clem is saying we can buy BTC at any 7-Eleven. I assume he means through
Cashing in
coins.ph,
through
right?
coins.
Yeah, you cash.
It's got to be through coins.ph, because I don't know that there's any other deal that would have allowed. What about Abra? Does Abra have any kind of 7-Eleven?
No, you'd be able to do that through Tagcash as well. You deposit money into a wallet, then you can buy crypto. I mean, that's it's not that hard, is it? Yeah. It's not like you go into a 7-Eleven and they have a price for Bitcoin up there. You deposit and then you can buy using your deposits in whatever system. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, so let's go back to the deck. Sorry about that page.
You know
I
what's
hope the
interesting
next-
about this thing?
Yeah,
I wonder if
yeah,
they're
go-
going to implement the FDIC insurance for deposits in Kraken now
have
that
to.
they have that. They have,
No, they have
well,
to.
which is
That's
So
that's the cash. So $250,000, right?
So
Is that-
FDIC insurance, and I, by the way, mea culpa, I looked this up like right before the show, so that's
Yeah.
why I was, I prepped for the show, so
Nice.
I don't just know this off the top of my head. But apparently, the license that they got, FDIC insurance maps to insurance when your bank is taking risk with its capital, aka like fractional
For
reserve
lending.
banking, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
and so FDIC insurance is supposed to protect you if your bank is acting stupidly and it blows up. And so I think actually these things are not subject to.
You're correct. They're not.
FDIC
I just
insurance.
looked it up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just looked
Yeah,
it up,
yeah.
and I've got something that says balances stored on Kraken insured. And they say cryptocurrency exchanges do not qualify. Exchange is not meant to be, but nevertheless, we take great care. But there's no security. There's no.
Yeah, that would have
Right.
been a real
Okay.
different
Okay.
trader, right? No one's ever
Yeah,
done
yeah.
that.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's move on to kind of the main part of the show. I wanted to share this this quote that I really like from this guy, Dr. Amara. I think it's Roy Amara. So the quote goes like this. No, so we tend to overestimate the effect of a technology in the short run and underestimate the effect in the long run. What this quote talks about is actually things like the internet, for example, or things like artificial intelligence or blockchain, where like when we get so excited about it, but it's not really ready yet. So this is kind of the reason why the whole .com bubble burst back in kind of late 90s to early 2000s, because we got so excited about the internet, but actually it was like several years after that before the internet really became a really important part of our lives. And the reason why I wanted to share this quote with you guys is because I wanted to talk about Uniswap. And if you were paying attention to the news last week about Uniswap, the Uniswap guys gave away 400 unis, 400 of their tokens to every person who had ever used Uniswap, every wallet that had ever used Uniswap. If you don't know what Uniswap is, they're on an exchange, right? I took a screenshot here of the Uniswap exchange. Here you can see I'm trying to sell one of my Ethereums, my Ethers, one of my Ethers. I'm trying to sell one of my Ethers for 374 DAI. It's actually very, very straightforward. If you compare it to, say, an order book exchange, it's a lot more complicated. But this is actually pretty simple, right? So you know that this is what you'll get, blah, blah, blah. So here's my story about Uniswap. So the last week, I've been trying to do some test trades on Uniswap. I've been doing it because, me personally, I'm curious, but also I want to see if Bloom will be able to use it for some of our own business. Of those 3 attempts, the first one I had to cancel because it took 30 minutes and nothing was happening. So my trade just got stuck. So I had to cancel it. The second one failed completely. When I clicked swap, it failed within about 30 seconds. And then the third one finally was successful. So I had 3 attempts where I tried to trade on Uniswap. And it took me 3 attempts before I finally got one successful transaction. Here's what's really weird about that whole thing, no? It cost me $4 to cancel the trade. When the trade had been kind of stuck there for 30 minutes doing nothing, it cost me $4 to cancel it. And then the trade that was successful, it cost me about $3.50. And that's the trading fee. I was trading around, not that much, like maybe $100 worth of Ether. So not a lot, no? So my $100 worth of Ether cost me $3.50 to trade, which is a really massive percentage. So this is what I was saying about how we tend to overestimate the effect of technology in the short term. Everyone is so excited about Uniswap. Everyone thinks that Uniswap is going to take over the the exchanges, the big exchanges like Binance or Bitstamp or Kraken or whatever. It's not really quite there yet. I actually got into a conversation with someone from CoinDesk about it. I told him, this guy Zach on Twitter, I was telling him about my experiences, and he said that's not unusual. Over 20% of transactions fail. And I'm like, how is that even possible? I mean, he was corrected later on by someone who was like a researcher, and he was saying that the error rate was actually more like 6 or 7%. But that's still really, really high, in my opinion. I'm not sure how you would be able to realistically do any trading on an exchange if you were only 90% sure that the trade that you had committed money to would actually happen. Like, it feels weird to be really, really excited about something like this. Mark, did you ever get around to trying any of this stuff? I know that you said you were going to be exploring DeFi a little bit.
Yeah, first of all, just borrowing money and lending it, I'm not making much on it. But I got most of my money in Bitcoin, so I need to do a wrapped Bitcoin to be able to put it in. So I haven't done it too much. But looking at Uniswap, the rates that you get, like for example, right now you get 334 on Uniswap for one in DAI. And DAI should be $1, right? But the actual rate's about 341 or 342. So you don't get exactly what the market rate is. I know there's the market, that's where they make the money, or people make money in the thing. But I just think for casual swaps where you just need a few, that's fine. But for a lot of money, you wouldn't put it through Uniswap.
Right.
You go through the exchanges. So until they make that fairly, I don't know, does it need more liquidity to get to those prices where they're more equal with the exchanges? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they're saying, right? That's why they're incentivizing people to add liquidity to the pool, because supposedly the more people participate, the more likely it is that you'll find a matching trade or something like that. Colin, have you ever tried to trade on Uni or any of these other dexes?
Yeah, I've done so through like DApp explorers and stuff.
Okay.
Only pretty minimally. But yeah, exactly. It's basically a function of pooled liquidity, right? So, the more WBTC, I think WBTC is the one they're really trying to build out right now. So they allocated part of their token rewards to building out WBTC rewards. But yeah, I think in theory, these errors will diminish, as liquidity increases, right? I think the transaction fees are kind of the probably the bigger long-term problem, just because it only becomes profitable to trade on Uniswap if you're trading at sufficient size. But yeah, I think incentivizing liquidity is probably a big part of the game plan here.
And are the fees high because the liquidity is not enough? Is that why, or is it also because
the fees are the Ethereum fees. The Ethereum fees.
They're all on-chain transactions. So
so it's the gas. It's the gas that's problematic because every time the Ethereum price goes up, the gas fees also increase in cost, and that's just like market action. So it becomes weirder and weirder to try to do your trades on exchanges like on.
And the thing is, this is like putting anything in as a contract. Like you're putting in a contract request, and it processes the gas regardless of whether it happens or not. So that's why you're spending your $4 in fees. Which is a pain in the ass. I mean, this whole decentralized trading thing. You can do that in Stellar, but most tokens that have been created on ICOs and so on are on Ethereum. Right. But in Stellar, you got the same thing. Someone's got to be an anchor, or basically wrap up the whatever token is and put it in Stellar. Stellar, it's just a true decentralized exchange, and the fees are tiny, like a fraction of a penny. So, I've seen this before. I don't know why this is so popular. I've used it in the past, but before I realized how much I was losing, in exchange rate. But I don't see where the big deal is coming here for this kind of. Binance does a decentralized exchange. Stellar is an exchange that does the same thing. I don't know why this is so big. Can anyone explain why Uniswap is so big?
Yeah, I think it's the
yeah.
compounding effects of the ecosystem, right? Ethereum had this flywheel where developers built on Ethereum, and that made more developers build on Ethereum. And so, even if there are things that are maybe technically more efficient at this stage,
Network effects.
you will exactly. You're going to trade off, kind of annoying network frictions in exchange for being more interoperable with.
This is like VHS and Betamax. Betamax was the better technology, but VHS got more usage and it was easier to use or whatever. So
yeah, right. But in this
case,
the idea that the Andre Cronje, that's his name, right? Yeah, Andre Cronje,
from Wi-Fi.
The Yearn finance guy is he is by himself an industry, right? Like, he builds everything on the back of his token. He just keeps building interoperability, and it's because Ethereum, everything in Ethereum works with everything else in Ethereum. It's just
Legos, financial Legos is the word that he was using.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's for a while people didn't see it coming, and then all of a sudden it compounded really quickly, and that's why I think a big part of why we've seen this DeFi and now maybe NFT boom is that everything kind of works with everything else, right? And it's really hard for another.
It's just the gas fees are so expensive, and it's frustrating because I create NFTs, but it's getting more expensive with the gas fees than the actual creation fee. Ian pointed out on here, swapping is a real thing. Why do we need to swap when exchange can do that? The difference is you hold the tokens and you manage them, and exchange does it for you. So if you're worried about exchange not giving you back those tokens or going bust or getting hacked, then that's the difference, by the way.
It's actually two things, but yes, that's the biggest one is that you can trade directly from your non-custodial, usually MetaMask wallet. So your coins directly go to the whoever it's being swapped with. So that's great. The other thing is there's no KYC. So if you're the kind of person that doesn't like submitting their ID and things like that, then there's an advantage to doing it this way, I guess.
And there's a wide selection, right, of coins. I mean, by the time the exchange lists one of them, they probably pumped a couple of times already, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I can put my own. I could put my own coin in here if I give the liquidity for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I think it's called Tag Cash.
No, it's Tag. It's not on Tag Cash. It's on Tag Bond, which is the token I use.
Tag Bond. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm separating cash from crypto. Non-custodial and custodial. I want to keep them far apart from each other because of regulation. It's a pain in the ass working where you get both together. So I'm interested in this on how do you building liquidity up and how do you get on to doing this sort of thing without going onto an exchange. So this is pretty good for that.
Yeah, that's the other thing is basically it's now even easier to launch a token because you actually don't need to do a crowd sale in the same way. You can just design the mechanism, put an ERC20 into a pool, on Uniswap, Balancer, one of these, sort of liquidity pools or decentralized exchanges, and then people can start trading directly against that. Right.
Yeah.
And
so, by the way, I'm just pump my tag bonds. You can create your own ERC token on that and put it on Uniswap. So just saying, plug. Putting it on to DAI. If you put it in, you've got to put the liquidity in Ethereum, right? Not in your own token because that would be too easy.
You could do the pair. If you do the pair, you do both, right?
Yeah.
So you have to bring in. So let's say $10,000 of your coin, and then $10,000 worth of whatever the other pair is. So it could be DAI, Ether, whatever.
I'm going to do that this week, and I'll let you know how it works next week. Because I'll put, say, $100,000 worth of Ethereum into the liquidity pool and some tag, and see what happens.
Leo in the chat is reminding us that the rumors are that Uniswap v3 will implement scaling solutions for the gas.
I don't know how.
And
are they
actually,
going to put it on level 2 or
ETH v2? There's also a comment about ETH v2.
The ETH v2 comment was so it's the same one, right? About gas. That's the main thing it's going to try to.
Does that mean they're going to put this onto a layer 2 solution like Loop Ring or something like that, or they
a Loom? Yeah.
Well,
like Bloom. Like Bloom.
ETH2 isn't even
Loom with an L. Yeah.
ETH2 isn't even proof of work anymore, right? So the block
it's
times are going to be very
like-
different. So
Do you think the
Yeah, so
gas
Brian
prices will
Ledesma-
come down a lot, or
we don't know that, and I think the transition could be as long as a year, to be honest, to go from
yeah.
ETH1 to ETH2.
But it needs to
so-
happen. It needs to happen. So tag swap, I like that. Yeah, why not?
Okay, there you go, Brian Ledesma. If Mark actually builds this thing, you can ask him for.
No, I'm not going to build it. I'm not going to build the damn thing. I just want to put my tokens on Uniswap to see how it
All
works.
right. Okay. I actually had so this is weird, but like I actually had data
interesting.
about the failure rate of dexes depending on the amount that you were going to trade. So the four dexes that are mentioned here are 0x, 1inch, Paraswap, and Dex AG. I couldn't get the one for Uniswap, but basically what it's saying is that the bigger the amount that you're trying to trade is, the higher the chance that
that's a
your
liquidity
trade
issue.
will fail.
It's like Colin's saying, it's a liquidity issue. Not enough
Yeah,
there to
right.
swap. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're trading below $250, it's probably okay. But like just the fact that there isn't a failure rate at $250 is pretty amazing.
Like I say, I think
but
this
yeah.
is the opportune. It's for making opportune. Just I need some tokens quickly for whatever reason.
Right.
But the big amounts don't go through this method. Yeah. For
Right.
this reason.
Yeah.
Well, one of the
Right.
reasons.
So, if you start trading greater than $50,000, you're very likely to experience about a 5 to 10% failure rate with your trade. And I don't think that's acceptable for any trader. That's impossible. So, so that's kind of where it is right now. So let's talk about Uni itself. No. So again, last week,
that
Uniswap
was 7,
decided
10,
to airdrop 400 Uni tokens to every wallet that had ever used their exchange before. Now,
At least 400.
At least 400. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, it was
Yeah,
more
yeah,
in some cases. Yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
people that got a lot of those, like $16 million dropped to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the guy that that we were talking about last week, Chef Nomi, the sushi swap guy, he had 130,000 Uni tokens in his wallet.
Wow.
So there you go, right? So he gave his money back, but he made it back some other way.
That's why he gave it back. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. So here's what's really amazing about this. No, so there were a lot of Pinoys that were actually trading on Uniswap. Primarily the Pinoys that we were talking about a few weeks ago, the players of Axie Infinity. Because remember, when you were playing Axie Infinity, that the token that you get there, you can't trade it anywhere else. You have to trade it on Uniswap. You have to turn it into Ether, and then from Ether, then you can trade it on, coins.ph or even with Bloom sometimes, stuff like that. But they had to go through Uniswap for their first step. So suddenly, these Axie players were suddenly airdropped 400 Unis that at one point was worth $7 or $8 a piece. So they made something like 150,000 pesos unexpectedly in the last few days, right?
Yeah.
So
Actually,
what do you do? What do you do with an airdrop of 150,000 pesos if you were completely not expecting it? I don't know.
Sell it. Usually sell it, especially the price is going to go up, shooting up like it did, and now the price is what, $3 something. So it's half the price now. But so as soon as you get the airdrop, usually you sell it.
Colin, I know that you were pretty aware of the Axie stuff. You were working with Leah or something when she was covering it, right? Yeah,
that's correct.
What were did the community, what did you observe what the community did with their Uni tokens and stuff?
So I wasn't in the Discord when this happened, but actually the story goes that in the Philippine part of the Discord chat there were a lot of people maybe didn't have context on Uniswap and the future value of the token. And a lot of people were going to sell it immediately, which was when it was at $2 or $3. And actually people, more savvy people told them to hold because they thought it was going to go up. And so actually they got the signal internally, like, wait. And then I think a lot of them started to sell positions off above 6 or 7. So the community actually kind of coordinated efforts to
That's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good.
To kind of double their money quickly.
As far as I know, like $8 was the top, right? Did it go beyond that? as far as I know, is like somewhere in the $8
I,
range.
I think it hit mid 8. I think is
Yeah,
where it topped
okay.
out.
Okay.
If
Ian is
this,
saying that.
this, yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. I'm saying if this works so well, why did maybe it can't be repeatable? But so if it works so well, why doesn't the Philippines government do some kind of Uniswapping stuff and then give away free money to millions of Filipinos? just an idea.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to take that one.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Maybe we leave that one at that. So Ian is reminding us that you had to pay at least $15 to $30 in Ether to transfer it at the time.
But it's free, so, free money. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably a pretty good deal. If it costs me $15 to $30 to move $2,000 worth of free money, I think I'd probably take that deal. As of this morning, Uni is closer to about $4, so it's actually dropped pretty significantly.
A little bit more. It was $3.30 or something now.
Okay.
Even more.
Yeah, so it's in the high $3 right now. Which again, let's not forget that many people got their unis for free. So that's still not a bad deal. But yeah, it's definitely starting to come down. And I guess it's just impossible for you to give people free stuff like this and not expect them to liquidate some of it at least.
Just like the forks. The forks were the same. When you get the forks, you get free money. You go, oh, I might as well sell it. But if they believe in it for long term, they would hang on to it. But if there are a lot of Filipinos, they probably want to take their money now rather than in a year, 2 years time or whatever.
Right. In the chat, Attorney Ryan is saying that everything dropped. That's true. Even the S&P dropped last week. So yeah, Justin, did you have something to say about that?
Which one?
About
the Uni? Well, the funny thing that I heard about Uni was Uni was how Coinbase Pro listed the token about
very quickly,
3 or 4 hours right after the airdrop.
Wow. They were ready. Damn.
3 to 4 hours after the airdrop, they listed the token.
I think didn't they have some problem with they had to wait 7 or 8 days to do sushi, and this time they didn't want to be caught behind, so they listed really quickly.
The amount, yeah.
What
was it they call a Coinbase pump?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it did pump. I mean, the US was like every time it was the US daytime, the price did go up pretty significantly just for the next few days, but then it started to correct about 2 days ago, I think. Sorry, did you have something to say about the stock market, the S&P stuff going down also?
It seems like
everything is red.
Yeah, everything went down. Gold went down. So the what do you call it? The traditional markets all went down, and I think it's in. I think they're saying they are anticipating bad numbers regarding COVID out of the U.S. again. That coupled with the elections, that's starting to kind of get a little bit more serious, I guess. And next week, I think, or next Friday, there's about 47% of future contracts that are going to be liquidated. So there's a few kind of on BitMEX. So there's a lot of liquidation that's going to be happening next week. I forget what price it was going to be, what those contracts were at. I think it's around the mid 11s maybe, or just early 11s. So it's a bit low. So that is kind of like what everybody saw all come at the same time a couple of days ago. I'm
just wondering how long it will be before Bitcoin will be splitting off from the rest of the markets, where people say, well, I'm not going to get into shares. I'm going to now buy Bitcoin instead. Right now, because I can't remember who said that. We were talking about this a few weeks ago, where we said the correlations are there now, but they won't be in the future. I'm just wondering at what point does that start splitting?
Right.
Because if people aren't buying shares, then where are they going to put the money in to invest?
It's not quite separate yet. Right?
No, it's not.
Go ahead.
When?
Yeah. Go ahead, Colin.
I mean, when there's nothing left to invest in the legacy market. I mean, that's no, truly, that's why we can pump without them, but we always fall back down because people sell their crypto to cover shorts because they think that legacy market is the one that's more critical. Suddenly, your E-Trade account, has a bunch of margin calls, and you need to cover your position, and so You say,
Right.
well, I want to sell my shares of Tesla because those are real. So I'll sell my Bitcoin to cover the call. And so, I mean, I think when things go down, the gravity is negative, or everything correlates.
Right.
But
Everything
you got
correlates.
people, you got investors that say, I'm going to invest in Bitcoin and lots of different assets, and like I do. But there are people that just say, where should I put my money? And then maybe they just choose. I'm not sure they would just choose Bitcoin. They would also want to spread their bets. Companies like Kraken setting up and making it easier to buy Bitcoin will, because if you make it easy to buy them,
Yes.
then
Bitcoin's easier still though, just because there's more institutional. I think institutions is this never-ending narrative around when are they coming, when are the big pools of money coming? But they are legitimately here and coming. They're never going to just be here, right? They're always going to be in the process, and they are in the process. And so the infrastructure for Bitcoin holding is much more pronounced for institutions than it is for Ethereum or any of the other assets.
So, Colin, when do you think the correlation will split? Do you think it ever will, or do you think it'll always be correlated now?
This is a bit of a rough answer, but yeah, I mean, like when the back of the traditional financial markets is broken, that's seen in that's seen in the Dark Knight. That's seen in the Dark Knight where Bane, or the Dark Knight Rises, where Bane goes and he cracks Batman's back in half. That has to happen before we correlate. Because until then, hedge funds hedge funds that might have a small crypto position, but they're protecting their equity positions. Until hedge funds are crypto hedge funds that might have a little bit of equity and not the other way around. I mean, I think it's going to be a bit. I think we're going to always correlate downwards at least,
right.
Even if we can unbundle upwards.
Attorney Raf is saying that
if Trump gets voted in next time, that might happen next year.
Attorney Raf is saying Uni is an ERC20 token, so it's technically feasible to immediately support its listing as soon as Coinbase decided in favor of it. That's technically true, but 3 to 4 hours is still a very, very short time. And the reason why I thought I wanted to highlight Raf's comment was because of this news, because some people were in such a rush to list Uni on their exchanges that they actually listed the wrong token. So they listed the unicorn token instead of Uni, and then people bought it.
That's like the Zoom.
The crypto traders bought the crap out of unicorn token and it went from 1 cent to $5. And then over the next next 24 hours, it took them about 24 hours before they realized that, we're actually trading the wrong token completely. This is unicorn. This is not Uniswap. And it's really confusing because Uniswap's logo is a unicorn. So you can see how you would have made this mistake, no? But, people were so freaking excited to start trading Uni that they didn't even bother to check. And the thing is, even the ticker symbol is the same. So
I think, at least as it relates to Coinbase and Binance, Coinbase is very plugged into the American DeFi ecosystem. They have this fund with USDC to make sure that USDC is proliferated in the DeFi space. They're all hanging out they're in New York and San Francisco. They're all kind of hanging out in the same kind of crypto scenes, probably living together in like crypto co-living spaces. And also I think the Uniswap window was anything. So it launched mid-September, but it was everything up until the first day of September. So I think it was very likely they had a window to try to prevent insider trading, and they probably briefed Coinbase at least on some of the some of the particulars of what was about to happen.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it becomes a little bit tricky also because Coinbase has been accused a couple of times of because when a coin is about to get listed on Coinbase, then you buy it beforehand. That's not kosher. So they have to be really careful about stuff like that now.
In this instance, though, I don't think there was a way to, unless they told them before that September 1st date, there wouldn't have been that. it wouldn't have been very easy to front run the trade, right? Because
Right. Yeah.
you just received your whatever tokens you had. You know,
Yeah, everyone got
already
it at the same
distributed.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's true. Just wanted to end it with kind of a tweet from the CEO of Uniswap. So he was talking, this is actually from a month ago. He was talking about how Uniswap is currently doing 1.2 transactions, 1.2 trades per second now.
Wow.
And it was a really big milestone. And I want to, the first thing I wanted to say was, yes, that's true. It is a really big milestone, but they are so far away from what a real exchange needs to be able to do that it's several orders of magnitude, right? So an engine like Binance or Bitstamp or something like that, they can do 1 million transactions per second or 1 million trades per second. So Uniswap is forever going to be kind of capped. Well, at least until Ether itself figures out a way to get rid of the, kind of these limitations. But at the moment, that 1 transaction per second that Uniswap is capable of doing, they've only got about 6 transactions more before Ethereum itself gets maxed out.
Yeah, but
right?
that's going to be solved with layer 2 solutions. So like you say, the technology is not there right now, but it will be in the future. And so decentralized trading will be, it's not going away. It's going to get faster and faster. And decentralized layer 2 solutions will solve this problem. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, there's a lot of layer 2 stuff happening, even in Bitcoin, right? I mean, the Lightning Network and things like that. And I think that what we're finding is that it takes a while to get people to adopt these new things. The thing about DeFi, the reason why adoption was so fast was because, well, people are greedy. So, if you give them ways to yield, the yield farming thing was basically the only reason why DeFi was adopted so quickly. Like, it was so complicated, and yet people just kind of learned how to do it because, if you're making 1,000% interest on something, I'll learn how to do that, right? So it's kind of the situation.
I still think the interest rates are not going to stay at 1,000%. I mean, like you say, you might make it for a day, but I'm interested to know what the average percent is over a year. After a year of this happening, what is the average? And then you can see bigger banks, bigger institutions coming in and say, well, we've got minus 25, minus 0.25% in Europe. We want to make say 5 or 6% or something, and then you can start putting institutional money into that space. It's going to be interesting.
Certainly. Okay, so we're actually starting to run out of time, and I wanted to make sure that Ramon still has time to do his segment for today.
Yeah, it's tough. 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, just you can kind of just run through it.
Yeah.
But I think that what's most important here is that people understand that there's stuff to learn, even if they don't pick up all of the details. So just a reminder, guys, so we're giving this away at the end of the show, and then Mark Vernon has generously agreed to pitch in $50 worth of Bitcoin, but you have to set this up properly first. So,
and then I'll transfer
so that's the challenge. Yeah. So that's the challenge to the person who wins this. Okay, Mon, do you want to take it away, and then I'll just kind of scroll for you.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. There is a lot to learn. This stuff took, and I'm still learning this stuff. And it's been, I don't know, over 5 years or so of multi-sig. Okay, I guess I'll just tell you to go next, right? There are a lot of slides here. Okay, so I'm going to give a short primer on private and public keys because that's important to understand why hardware wallets or how to store your Bitcoin securely. Go ahead. So with Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies should behave the same way. There are going to be some details a little bit different. I am not very familiar with the others. And also to be honest, the hardware wallet scene is less, and the tools around it also are less polished with the other cryptocurrencies. But whatever you learn here you should be able to apply more or less to the other cryptos. So you have with Bitcoin, you have a private key, right? And this private key, you could think of it as it's like you need this to spend Bitcoin. And this private key allows you to create a public key, and the public key is what your addresses are made of. Could you go next, please? So a little bit more of that later. The private key should be safe, because remember, you need this to store your to spend your Bitcoin. And that's why, the general recommendation is to, of course, it depends on the amount, but keep it offline. And a hardware wallet is keeping it offline. It's not on a device that's connected to the computer. And so the image that's here is the public key. So, if you see an address like this, a Bitcoin address, you can generate that using your public key. You can send your public key to people and they will not be able to spend your Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
But if you send your private key to somebody, they will be able to spend your Bitcoin. Okay, next, please.
Right.
So remember, when you send, this is like Bitcoin going into your Bitcoin address, which came from your public key. To send it out, you need your private key. Now, there are different ways also to secure this even further. You can make it in such a way where, and I'm simplifying this a lot, but you can make it in such a way where you send Bitcoin to an address, but you need like 2 out of 3 different private keys to send that Bitcoin out. And like, I don't expect people to be doing this if they have $200 worth or 10,000 pesos worth of Bitcoin. It's not going to be worth your time. But this is more or less like what I suggest you do, or at least look into it, right? Obviously, the numbers will change depending on what you're comfortable with. But like, if I have 1 million pesos or more, you can be pretty sure that that'll be in some multi-signature setup. And multi-signature, just for those who aren't familiar, that's where you need more than one key to spend some of that Bitcoin.
Right.
Okay, next, please. So let's take just this example, right? So let's say you have about 15 million pesos worth and you want to secure it 2 out of 3. And this means that you need 2 signatures or 2 private keys out of the 3 private keys to send or to spend that Bitcoin, to send it out. Go ahead. So, perhaps the simplest way to keep this secure is you have 3 hardware wallets, right? You put 1 in each bank, safety deposit box. If you want to spend from that, you have to go to 2 of the 3 safety deposit boxes to send. Now, it sounds like it's a bit of a hassle. Could you go next, please?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go to number. Stress that, like, it's not like you have to have everything in a hardware wallet. You can have some right on your phone if you spend like that. You can, if it's Ether, you can have it on MetaMask so that you can go ahead and trade on Uniswap. But for a majority of your coins, I suggest looking at solutions that are a bit more secure. And also know that the setup evolves, right? Remember, the more you end up having or the higher the price gets, you're going to want to change your setup. If you have $50 million worth, you probably will want something more than 2 out of 3, maybe. Think about the potential attackers. Like, is it, nation states that are after you, or right? You have to think about that stuff, and also inheritance. When you die, how will your loved ones get access to it? And this is like the more secure your setup is, the harder inheritance will be also.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
This one.
BTC guide. What's in BTC guide? I've
So
never seen
this
that
one
before.
is an open source guide to setting up a multi-signature Bitcoin wallet, and it's meant for people. Like, while it'll help if you know command line, you don't need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't gone through it myself, but I mean, meaning to say, I haven't tried it out myself, but I've read through it.
Okay.
It's not a one pager. This stuff takes takes some studying, and that's why I also suggest, that you look into this if you have a lot of money in it, because you'll be incentivized to keep it safe.
Okay. All right. So that's I've never seen this. I will look this up also, just in case. Maybe it's something that I can implement myself also. Or, I mean, do you recommend that, like if you were a complete beginner, where would you start? Would btcguide.github.io be okay, or would you go somewhere simpler?
Is there a wallet that you can just say, I'm gonna approve this transaction, and then someone else has a linked multi-sig,
BitPay
and they
does
see it
that.
pop up on theirs, and they finish the
Copay.
signing, or do you have to send it
BitPay.
from one to another?
BitPay Copay does that.
Yeah, and that's okay. That might be a version of your hot wallet or your warm wallet, right? Maybe more like warm. But I wouldn't want to store a bunch of money, even on the Copay one, even if it's multi-sig. And the reason there is, like, you could just have one malicious piece of code, and it has happened with Copay, where it'll sniff all your private keys and then figure out.
I didn't mean store the private keys on the device. So you can have your public key, and then you scan a QR code or use something else to confirm it.
Yes. So that BTC guide has a suggestion to use, and I've been using Electrum, and this suggestion that BTC guide has is supposed to be more user friendly.
Well, Electrum is not exactly a mobile wallet; it's more computer desktop, right?
Yes, yeah,
It is,
and that's, I guess, just the nature of it being in cold storage. Like, having it on the phone isn't a priority, or being able to sign with your hardware wallet on the phone isn't a priority. I guess if that's the case, just use your hardware wallet's app on your phone if it's available, right? Like, I think Ledger has one.
Yeah, with
But
Ledger,
would
Ledger
make it
definitely
easier.
has one.
Yeah,
It does.
but that would be just for maybe a warm or semi-cold, like a small portion of your cold. But you're not gonna store like $1 million on your phone, even if it's on the Ledger. Like, I think you'll want a different setup, or at least I will. I don't know about you, Mark.
Don't ask Mark. Don't ask Mark. Don't answer that, Mark. Don't answer. That's a
Don't
trap.
ask me.
Okay. In the chat, we were asking what coins people would be storing if they had their own ledger. You're getting answers like BTC and ETH. Arshalin is saying BNB, USDT. I actually saw someone say XLM. I only had one person say XLM. No.
Yep,
Ledger is a
supports
lot.
all of that.
Yeah.
The catch is you could probably only, I don't know if they've upgraded it yet, but you could probably store 4 coins max, or 4 or 3
something like
maximum.
that.
It's not
a lot you can
it's not
store in there.
infinite. Yeah, so that's one of the things that they need to upgrade. I think they might have upgraded it in the more recent model, I think.
Yeah, X.
Yeah, Polkadot and Swipe Holder. That reminds me that we still haven't actually gotten the Swipe guys onto the show. So Swipe is a Philippine-made token that was recently acquired by Binance. We've been talking about them a little bit on the show. We should try to see if they can join us and tell us about what they're doing. I think that would be really interesting. Let's see what the other answers are. Go ahead.
You remember on Billions? Remember the show Billions about hedge fund
Yeah.
traders and all that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of points where they mentioned crypto, quite a few, and then he was giving $1 million in whatever, and here's a stick. And do you think that was a nano ledger?
Oh wow!
First of all,
Probably one of
he was
those-
laundering money with that, so it's probably not a.
What are
most
those
kosher
like
example, but
$5 sticks
paying off
again
his-
from
Open Dime.
Dime?
You're talking about Open
It's
Dime.
probably an Open Dime.
Yeah. That would have been. Yeah, that's giving them a lot of credit. I don't know that they would even know what an Open Dime wallet was. Even a Ledger Nano, right? I don't know. Like, you think?
Well,
They
you
just
think they
had a
knew?
stick, didn't know what it was.
Isn't the writer, or at least one of the
crypto
writer of
guy?
Billions, a crypto guy, Ben
Looked like a
Mesrick or
legend.
something?
I didn't know
he
that.
wrote
I
he
didn't know.
wrote The Social Network, and he's into
Yeah, if
Yeah,
I remember
okay, yeah.
correctly,
Bitcoin or
it did look like a
crypto.
ledger.
I don't know.
It was long.
Okay, it might have been.
That
Yeah.
was the first time I really saw on a public show that crypto was
Yeah,
really here's $1 million in
Yeah.
crypto. Here, take it away.
Yeah.
So-
He also wrote Bitcoin Billionaires about the Winklevi.
Oh, that
Big
guy.
guy.
Okay, I didn't know that. Mesnitz.
So they do know their stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Neo and Cardano. Okay, I have not heard Neo in so long. I don't even know what it's doing. Like, are they? They're also a smart contract platform, right? I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Okay. Last comment before we start doing our raffle. We've got 2 minutes left. May maglalabas kaya ng adobo coin. Are we ever going to see an adobo coin? If we do see it, I guess it'll have to be via tag bond or something like that.
No, it'll just be a straight transfer
Okay.
from
all
a
right.
non-multi-sig wallet.
Okay,
There's
guys.
a lot of coins on Ledger now, man. I can't even go through the whole list. There's hundreds now.
But that's good, right?
You
I mean,
can
you're
store-
supposed to have the
Machine
start
exchange
and-
coin. What
And
the
look,
hell?
if you really want Ethereum, then I can transfer $50 worth of Bitcoin or Ethereum or any token, whatever you want. I can use Uniswap to get it for you.
I think
Yeah.
that because Bloom was originally a Bitcoin only show, we
Bitcoin.
should do
I love Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Bitcoin
we
then.
should do-
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Unless you happen to have Neo, which is the Ethereum of China, apparently. I had
Yes.
forgotten that. I didn't realize that was the case. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So here we are. It has been 25 episodes. Oh, sorry. Before I actually do I'm really teasing the raffle now. Quick, just with the panel. There's only 3 of us left because Colin had 4 of us left because Colin had to leave suddenly. Quick thoughts about what you want the next 25 episodes to be like or about. Like, is there specific things that you want to be able to talk about? Like, what do you guys think? We're gonna be like, I don't know if we're still gonna be in lockdown by next year, but it's gonna be around February or March before we hit episode 50. Do you guys
for
have
me, I think it's a mixture of how to make money. Yeah, like
Okay.
opportunities that are coming up, so people are interested in how to make money, and what you just did, which is a little bit of technical knowledge just to fill in the gaps every week. I like
Okay.
that little segment about a particular tech side, and so people, I know a lot of people that don't know some of the basics, but yet they're into it. So I think it's a good
Right.
idea to do that every week. A mix of like, how do I make money, latest news, stuff like that, and a bit of tech. So it's a
Cool.
good mix.
Cool. Okay. Mon, Justin, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I like what Mon did today with sort of a little bit more technical stuff, layer by layer, and then also, talking more about how you can get more
Uniswap.
rewards, I guess, from your crypto holdings if you already start to kind of have it. So it's
Okay.
interesting. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but a lot of the centralized finance exchanges, I guess, out there that offer interest returns all of a sudden change their terminologies in terms of what they say interest. It's called rewards now. So they're not giving you interest they're giving you rewards in your Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's it's a regulatory thing.
For sure, of course,
okay.
that's going to be a
Yeah,
regulatory thing. So it's interesting to see that. So people learning more about how to get rewards.
Well, the things like the NFT, how do we,
Yeah.
how does, the Axie, how are they were making money? Because especially if it's Philippines related, people are always looking to make a little, extra money,
Yeah, that's
especially if
great.
they're at home
Yeah.
and not working.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you
I
have
mean,
to combine that with a little bit of tech knowledge as well, just to, let people know what they're doing.
I mean, I was actually thinking, like, during a slow day, for example, if like this is not a lot of news, we could actually do a segment where we're just playing Axie Infinity,
Yeah.
so people can see how that works.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, right?
I feel like it'd be like a poker tournament.
Oh yeah. Oh
No.
shit. Uh-oh.
You got to buy in.
Did you have any other
Limits.
thoughts before we do the raffle? Mon.
What?
Oh no, I have nothing to add. I want to know more about the stuff you guys mentioned. Sure.
Okay. Okay. On my I know, like, I would rather have I would like to talk about more scams that we can
Well, it
shed some
seems to
light
bring in
on.
the users.
Spice
doesn't
things
it?
up
You
a
know?
bit.
You did the
Just
Foresight
like
thing,
being
you had
trolled,
100
like
people.
trashed,
You know?
huh?
yeah. But anyway, that's just a joke, guys. I am definitely with my co-panelists that we want to entertain, we want to educate, but also we want to talk about the things that will help us manage our finances better, right? That's making money, protecting our money, and
Yes.
hopefully helping.
Okay, who's
people.
going to win? Who's going to win? Come on.
Okay, here we go. All right, so
So just one, right?
Yeah, it's
Just
just
one?
one. So this is
Okay.
going to be a
Oh,
very,
it's
very short
not a
raffle,
lot.
guys. I hope that
Long
your hearts
drum
are
roll.
ready.
A long
So
drum
yeah,
roll.
I wish I had time to find a better drum roll. So we're gonna use the same old drum roll. And we're gonna call it the name once. The only rule is that you cannot be a friend of. You can't be an employee of Bloom, and you can't be Mark Vernon. So, and those are the only rules.
Oh.
All right, here we go, guys. Starting the raffle now. And the winner of our Ledger Nano S is Charles Samson. Wow, did we see that name earlier today?
Gosh, no.
Earlier in the show.
Yeah, I
I've
see.
been
Congrats,
trying-
BloomX.
Yeah,
8:01
yeah.
p.m. Yeah.
Charles Samson.
Is he in chat?
Congratulations. Congratulations. You have won
8:01.
a Ledger Nano S. We
Congrats.
will be contacting you after the show. I mean, so this is the problem with this is that it's actually a physical thing that we will have to mail to you. So hopefully you live in the Philippines and we don't have to do a DHL international shipping. Charles Samson. Oh, okay, yeah. So he's actually responded. Hey Charles, tell us where you live. Are you in Metro Manila at least, or are you outside of
Okay.
Luzon?
Yeah. Don't put your address on the
Don't
comments.
put your address. Don't put your address. Just tell us like what region or city you live in. Anyway,
You
so
won't
just
hear this for a while. You won't hear it for. There's going to be a 30-second delay. Remember?
that's true. Yeah, there is a bit of a delay. Anyway, okay. So just quick reminders. So Charles has to actually install and set up his Ledger Nano, and then the first Bitcoin address that he generates from it, he will send it to me, and then I will pass it on to Mark, and then Mark will take care of.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay, it's better. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah. He lives in
Good luck,
Tarlac.
good luck. It's fine. Yeah.
Uh,
You'll get it within the
okay.
week.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. It's not gonna be same day delivery, buddy. Sorry
No.
about that. Like I was hoping that it could be pretty straightforward. Who delivers to Tarlac? Is that LBC?
Actually, you know what?
LBC.
Lala Move
LBC.
might still deliver
Really?
to
Whoa,
I know.
okay.
I got a Bulacan one.
But
Okay.
don't they like use LBC when it becomes far?
They have a long distance service now, so
Awesome.
might
Okay,
be,
so
but
this is
yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
like-
I like that someone who wasn't from Metro Manila won. I think that's really cool. Okay. Sige. Okay, so Charles, I will get in touch with you after the show. And then we will get your Ledger Nano to you within the next couple of days. And then hopefully next week you will join us on the show, at least in the comment section, and tell us how things are going. And then Mark will send you your Bitcoin prize. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. There's only Mark left because Colin has left. I guess Colin also couldn't tell us about the company that he's working for, so he has nothing to plug right now.
Couldn't do that. Not
but
until he
anyway.
starts working for them.
Yeah. Mark Vernon, tell us where people can find more of you.
Just at on Facebook, fb.com/Mark Vernon or Telegram at Mark Vernon. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Justin David, do you want to take us out? That's it. There's only
Sure. Bloom Solutions, guys. Check us out on Facebook and on bloom.solutions for any of your FX, remittance, or crypto needs.
Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks so much for watching again. Mon, did you have any final thoughts?
That's it. That's all.
Okay.
That's
So
all,
we'll be
folks.
back. That's all, folks.
25th.
We'll be back next week, episode 26, and we're gonna be around for another 25 episodes for sure. So, okay. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. And
All right, John. I'm starving.